These new Unifan SL wireless fans use 2.5 gigahertz for wireless control. But while they use wireless, they're not exactly wireless. There's still a good amount of wire, but you could say substantially fewer cables. Welcome to Machines More. Today we're checking out Lian Li's new SL wireless series of 120mm fans, both the LCD and non-LCD versions. Instead of needing to connect back to a bulky controller or ARGB header, these fans will receive the ARGB and LCD display data wirelessly. Before we begin, I did want to thank Lian Li for their support in providing these test units for this channel, but Lian Li did not pay for or sponsor this review, and of all our reviews here, they are product independent testing and evaluation. So I hope you enjoy this content, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel to get the latest updates, and make sure you hit that notifications button as well. So not too long ago, I reviewed the Lian Li TL LCD fans, and while they're nifty as an interlocking Unifan with an LCD screen, one of the inconvenient aspects of that setup is needing this bigger controller to operate those. These SLs are improved in that regard. They're pretty nifty because they connect wirelessly to the RGB controller. For now, these are going to come in only 120mm sizes, and at 28mm thick, they're a little bit thicker than your typical 25mm or 120mm fan. The LCD equipped fans, these two on the right here, they have a 1.6-inch LCD. You can have MP4, GIF, or still images in the form of JPEG or PNG. The blade design of the LCD version is different than the non-LCD version. The LCD version has more of a back sweep. And these will come with a receiver with a cable that connects to a fan header, a PWM fan header for powering the LEDs and the receiver. The LCD ones can actually draw up to 0.5 amps or so. So if you're connecting to 1 amp header, which is quite common on a motherboard, then definitely don't do a group of more than 2. Otherwise, you can use a SATA to PWM cable, which is included with the 3-pack. The receiver unit for the LCD equipped ones will also need to connect to a USB 2.0 header for the LCD signal, while the non-LCD version will just need the PWM cable, and that's going to be a cable like this. It just has the receiver here and PWM cable for the non-LCD version. And this receiver will just hook up to the side of the first fan in your sequence. And being a Unifan, each fan will just latch up together like that, and you don't need a daisy chain cable in between them. Make no mistake though, although the ensemble is a little bit slimmed down, you still need a controller though. And this is the transmitter unit, which can either plug into a USB 2.0 header or just plug into a USB-A port on the back of your motherboard or something like that. Plugging into a USB-A port will be more convenient for some folks who don't want to have to hide this inside the case. The main advantage of the wireless aspect of this fan setup is when you have multiple groups of fans or a streamer or wireless device type of cable, which I haven't seen that yet. But with the Unifan design, you already don't have cabling concerns between interlocking fans, right? But between different groups, this setup saves you from having to run cables between those 2 groups or 3 groups or back to a RGB hub. Of course, noting that each group of interlocking fans, this group, for example, will still need to have a receiver and cabling connected back to the motherboard, and another group will also need to have that receiver and cable set up. With the help of Lian Li's L-Connect software, the controller can sync up to 10 channels. If you're using all LCD fans, each group can only have a max of 3 fans, which can have different pictures or videos displayed simultaneously. Or you can have a max of 4 non-LCD, which is like this one. You can have 4 of these in one group. You can also do a group of 2 of these and 2 LCDs. In addition to having your favorite GIFs displayed on the LCD screen, you can also choose to have the fans display the system parameters, for example, the GPU temp or the CPU temp, and you can have that on one screen and have the GIF on the other screen. You can have both with the system specs. As far as the lighting goes, there are 2 zones around the frame. One is on the outermost perimeter of the frame, and the other one traces the rubber bumper surround. And if you're not using the fan holes, you can cover them up with the rubber cover. The purpose of these fans isn't to be a high performance option, but rather something that's more aesthetically biased. Of course, they are still fans, though, and need to do what fans do. One potential application for this is you might be looking at swapping out your rad fans on an AIO. The max fan speed with the LCD version is 1900 RPM, the 2000 RPM for the non-LCD version. The non-LCD version does have slightly better performance specs. I think if you're looking for the performance, then definitely get these. I think this is a little bit less unique in that regard. I think the screen version will be something that a lot of folks will be interested in. So that's the reason I tested out these on a radiator. And I did give these a quick test on an off-the-shelf AIO. Here's ASUS's Strix LC3 240. Tested at a moderate high fan speed on 5800X. If you do swap fans in a scenario like this, you should expect the SL wirelesses to perform similarly. Here, in fact, they do underperform the stock ASUS fans a little bit, so definitely don't expect to improve your performance unless your stock fans are truly underwhelming. Let's do a quick sound check with the LCD version just for your reference here. If you're using these as a case fan, you won't be getting up into those higher RPMs, so I don't think noise would be as much of a concern there. As I was testing these, I did note a few issues, likely due to the Beta L Connect software provided with the testing kit. For example, sometimes the LCD display on the fans would just reset. They spaz out for a few moments, and then you have to reconfigure them in the software, reset the orientation. And on the fan control side, when the LCD fans were set to the max speed, which should have been 1900 RPM, I only got about 1600 RPM on these, which is beyond the typical variance that's spec'd into PC fans. I am testing this and the software pre-launch, so hopefully they can get these kinks ironed out at the launch. One thing to watch out especially is for the LCD version. You do need the right case to display these in. If your case has a side window, then side fans on the opposite side might make sense. Some folks will just side mount a rad in that position in a case like that. The LCD ones that I have here that Lian Li sent me, these are the reverse variation with the screen on the exhausting side. So these would be ideal if you want to set up that side radiator to intake and be able to view the LCD display still. And that's kind of like front and center in that spot, well, side and center. They also come in the normal variation where the LCD is on the intake side as well. Pricing, these will come in black or white versions. The MSRP for a 3-pack of the 120mm LCD ones, plus the wireless controller plus an SATA to PWM adapter, which you might need if your fan header can't deliver that much power. That setup is $135. And individually, a single one, which comes with a receiver, this guy here, is $42. And if you don't get the 3-pack, you will need to pick up this wireless controller, which is $18. So you sort of could mix and match if you need more than 3. The non-LCD ones, which are just called the SL Wireless, will have a similar 3-pack configuration for $90, and each single one is $27. So these are towards the higher end of typical 120mm fan pricing. And of course, in terms of wireless RGB, this is quite revolutionary. So a big part of the cost of these fans is going to be towards paying towards that feature, and of course the LCD display if you're getting that version. So overall, I think this is a good option if you like RGB and you're looking to jazz up your AIO or case fans and you don't want to have a rat's nest of ARGB cables. It does cut down on some cabling and the space taken up from an RGB hub or controller. Of course, you still have to have this. It's a neat concept. Just keep in mind you will still need to manage some cables. You still got the receiver cable. Also, if you are doing multiple groups of LCD fans, you do also need to have enough USB 2.0 headers as well. So hope you found this review helpful. Please make sure to give a like if so. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to get all the updates here. I will leave links for these fans down below when available. And a big thanks for watching today.